Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Clean Shaven Porky here, the voice of hardcore boxing. And today we're joined by the co-founder of Porky's Corner, my good friend Rico. How are you doing, Rico?
Good to see you, mate. You are in fighting weight, ready to fight any featherweight in Britain or abroad.
150 pound, Rico, head like a skull.
Can we just clarify for anybody that's here saying that you're a bender and you're back to bad ways or anything like that? Can we just clarify that you're just skinny, yeah?
I've not been on a bender. My members of my family saying, "Are you back on gear?" No, I'm not back on gear. Jesus, I'm struggling just to keep food down, I suppose. But no, it's three shakes a day, full fat milk, full whey, not diet whey, third of a tin of soup, slice of bread, and a banana a day, kid. We don't need a lot of food, do we? Really, we overeat as humans anyway, don't we?
We do. I mean, look, the thing is, we're not doing physical labor, are we? Like most of us aren't. Like we're not in the fields plowing, whatever. We're not. Unless you actually like doing something that's hard labor every day, you don't need to eat as much as we do often.
No, I don't think so. No, and I think that you can. And I'm in a routine now where I don't think about it. Obviously, because I've got this gastric band on, it sends a signal to your brain.
Yeah.
You don't need to eat every 4 hours. But for years, I've overeating and over drinking, and now I don't know. 31 waist, kids. I'm like that.
You are.
I'm wasting away. I better ease up on all the Dean White jokes, haven't I?
Yeah, you probably should.
I've just been watching.
Twice the size of who? Dean White is two porkers in height and weight.
Yeah, he's a big lump. I've just been watching him spar that Michael. Well, I'm the same height as Michael, and he's probably about half a stone heavier than me, Michael. But fucking hell, he flogged him, didn't
he? He did. I mean, brave but stupid from Michael, and also like,
what
are you going to prove going in the ring with somebody like Dean White? Like, what are you hoping to achieve?
Well, he's not throwing any punches, is he?
No, but still, what are you hoping to achieve as Michael? When you have a channel that nobody watches, I guess that's the best you can hope for.
Back in the day, I would have needed a fire extinguisher off CS gas to take Dean White down, wouldn't he? He's like Tower, isn't he? He'd still keep coming for you, wouldn't he? Like that, who is it in Sopranos when they're having fighting in Bada Bing it back, where they stick that to do with that guy, don't they? He just keeps coming for him.
Yeah. Oh, I do love Sopranos. He is good. Some of the one-liners are brilliant.
Yeah. Okay then. I've been at Hollingworth today, Manchester. Went to Wagon and Horses for something to eat. And is it Gun Inn? Just after Glossop. So it ain't bad drive that, coming from there, Rick. I sent you a video, didn't wait, but it's lovely scenery, but it's like 2 hours to get home and coming that way. It's knocked smoke out me.
Is it because it's a Friday? Everybody's traveling.
Everybody's traveling, yeah, that's the one. All right, I've jotted a few things down. This is probably the last video I'm going to do on YouTube for this month. I need a break, mate. There's some videos to go on members area though, so plenty of members area videos for all you who are not members. Get joining. Right, Dan Aziz. He's going to fight Reece Cartwright. There's been a pull-out, hasn't there, on fight for tomorrow night?
Yes.
I think the Showtime ain't got a problem with it, and none of the American people have, and nobody else has an issue with it who's a license holder, but the board have stopped it, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's I think Martin Theobald was talking about this when they did the New Age Boxing Reunion episode, that the whole Edward Goodneck thing, because he's suing the board, or he was suing the board. So the board are probably more vigilant than they have been before in making sure that everybody's licenses are in order, everybody's medical checks are in order. And the guy who's meant to fight had only been fighting abroad. He'd never been fighting in Britain before. And I know some countries, like you can fight these small hall shows in Ireland. I think he held an Irish license. He's fought in the US. And they're not as vigilant. But when this is a televised fight and it's at a big stage, it's for a title, they are going to be a lot stricter. So I think, in my experience at least, when you get your medical done first, so whatever happens in that in-between period doesn't really get monitored unless you get knocked out multiple times or stopped. But when you're doing it again, so I think for him, it was one of those unlucky things where he probably should have got his medicals done and licenses and everything before they announced the fight. And the board have just been stricter than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they get it horribly wrong or fantastically right, the board. It's a bit of missing it at times. But Reece Cartwright, he fights on Dennis's show on 3rd of April against a guy with 152 fights and 9 wins. And he's a career middleweight. You do know that, don't you?
Yes. He fought against, who was it a few years ago?
Tyler Denny fought him 3 years ago,
Yeah.
under the 58 pound. He's now fighting Dan Aziz for 175 belt. Now, Reece Cartwright's not a light heavyweight. He wasn't even a big middle. He's just... I actually have met Reece a few times, actually. He's fought on the Dennis show before. He was going to fight Liam Cameron. And when I went for my seconds license at Bradford with board control, Reece were there. He'd been reprimanded by board. So we were both sat waiting to go in to see the shithouses. And we were having crack about Porky's Corner and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But he's actually a nice kid, Reece. But he's not a light heavyweight, mate. You get knocked about, tomorrow night, Reece. And I hope he don't, because I like him. But he has not got a cat in hell's chance. And it's that bad. I'm going to have to put a big wedge on him getting knocked out, mate. I know I'm profiting off it, but so fucking what? Everybody else will. It's a mismatch. I don't even think you'll get odds at bookies, mate, to be honest.
He fought against Shakan Pitters the last time at light heavy, and he got knocked out. And Shakan Pitters isn't a puncher.
No.
But again, he had stepped up. He'd stepped up from middleweight, and it seems like he's meant to fight Lewis Von Pooch, who's like one of the most well-known journeymen in this country, in Rotherham. So, he's going to end up getting knocked out again. So he's going to get knocked out twice just to take the money. And I just think, as far as last-minute replacements go, this is one of the problems that we have at the moment in the UK in boxing, is because of Brexit, you can't get these foreign journeymen to come here straight away in a very short notice. They need working visas, everything else sorted. So we end up getting guys that are massive mismatches just because we can't get them. So he was probably paid a decent amount of money, and then he's going to come up in weight and not cut the weight and turn up. But I think it becomes a safety issue. We can't have these foreign journeymen, because there would have been a lot of capable foreign journeymen that could have just come at short notice and at least put up a fight. I mean, this isn't going to go more than 2 rounds.
Inside 3 rounds, Reece gets bladdered, and it's a shame. And it'll count as a British title defence. But yet, the board should hang their heads in shame. That belt shouldn't be on the line tomorrow night. You do know that, don't you?
He's not ranked. He wouldn't be ranked at that weight. So how can he have that?
Maybe the belt might not be online then. I don't know. Is it?
And let me check. And he's coming off a loss anyway. So
it can't.
I don't really.
Can't be online then, surely.
Let's see. Reece Cartwright. It doesn't seem on BoxRec to be, but let's see if it's on the line. I hope it's not on the line. I think it would be a shame if it was on the line.
Well, look what they did with Gary Sykes years ago. They wouldn't let him have that as a defence, and he fought Carl Johansson. They won't have that as a mandatory defence, even though and Carl Johansson were world ranked at the time, and yet they can do this. How can that be fair? If this is a British title defence tomorrow, it's in bad taste.
Yeah, it's not said anywhere that it's not like, it's not on the line, but it's not said anywhere that it is on the line either. So it's not clear to me at this point.
I just hope Reece is going to be all right tomorrow, because Dan Aziz, he's the real deal, isn't he?
He punches really hard. I mean, we were there at his last fight, and he's got this old school way of where he wears you down. I mean, look, I'm roaming into hyperbole here, but he's a bit like Triple G in the way how he punches. He just wears you down, and all of his shots are really heavy, and he'll just eventually grind you down, and you're taking a lot of punishment. He isn't like a big one punch kind of KO artist.
Yeah.
He's more a guy that he just thudders and punches and punches.
Accumulative.
Yeah. And that's the most dangerous stuff, isn't it?
Well, what's funny about this? Well, obviously I shouldn't laugh, but I know for a fact that he's on Dennis's show week after, and you know Dennis, he will be raging that he's took this fight because Dennis will be saying he's going to get stopped, and then he can't be on my show on 3rd of April because he's booked out on Dennis's, isn't it, week after?
Yeah, but he's been fighting against Lewis Wampuch, so it's his fighting against a journeyman in a comeback fight. So probably Dennis will take a cut off that, and that will actually cover all the ticket sales, right?
I don't know, because I don't know. Maybe Dennis might be saying, yeah, take it if there's something in it for him.
Yeah, that will be the case because people aren't tuning in to watch Cartwright against Lewis Wampuch because Lewis Wampuch isn't gonna get knocked out, but he's not gonna win either. He knows better than to win. I mean,
9 wins in 152 fights.
Yeah, but he's a good fighter. He's just a typical journeyman, right? I mean, I've seen him in York Hall quite a few times, and he could win a lot of the fighters they fight against novices, but he's on the road every week fighting against someone.
Okay, then. Well, we'll wish him both well. I hope Reese gets home safely to his family and doesn't end up on the slab. But I'm going to point out what I've been saying for a long time. One of these days, this kamikaze matchmaking that they're doing and the fights are allowing, somebody's going to get hurt. Touch wood they don't this weekend. So good luck to Reese because I like Reese Cartwright. He's a nice kid.
I would add to that, people always bang on about steroids in boxing and that being a danger and somebody could get really hurt. And I actually think this type of matchmaking is a lot more dangerous.
Oh, shocking matchmaking. Shocking. Moving on then. Bricktop's got a bit of intense beef with Jeff Benz.
Yes, Dillian White's lawyer.
What do you make of it all? And will this affect the fight, Rico?
So they won TalkSport earlier today. Frank Warren came on, and then they rang on. It was a bit like what they did with Barry Hearn and Frank Warren those years ago, right? Where they rang on the guy, and Jeff Benz, was Dillian White's lawyer, came on, and he started off by making the point that Dillian hasn't been given tickets for the fight. All the tickets.
Dean White said he's been given 6, didn't he?
Yeah, and all the tickets have been sold to StubHub. He can't get tickets for his mates or comp VIP tickets. Also going on about the fact that his image was used in a poster for the fight, saying that the money's not in an escrow. Frank Warren said none of this is true. I think it all boils down to one point. When you sign a contract, all that stuff is in the contract. Where does the money go? Does the money go into escrow? How many tickets are you getting? Can we use your image and likeness? Frank Warren said that there was a clause in the contract which said about promoting, Dillian White should be promoting the event. I just think it's all a way to try and get more money and, try to keep up the perception that White's not going to turn up unless he gets what he wants. He'll turn up, he needs the money. Or he might not turn up and have a big strop, right? Yeah. But, I thought it was really unprofessional from a lawyer to talk about things and then not draw to the fact that it's all in the contract. It's either in the contract or it's not. Dillian White is either in breach of his contract or he isn't. That's how simple it is. You've seen boxing contracts many times, right?
Yeah.
And they are detailed. They will say what you have to promote on social media, how many tweets, how many posts. They will say that you have to turn up to press conferences. They'll have penalty clauses if you don't do X. They'll have clear instructions on how many tickets you're getting, how many tickets you need to sell. All that stuff is in the contract. So the lawyer can't go and start saying that, oh, we're not getting this and that, because they're holding the end of the bargain.
I've seen Dennis's were 3-4 pages. But the Bricktop ones, the one that Bricktop sent Carl Frotz were 45 pages. For the Calzaghe one, they wanted options on it, and all sorts of this and that, blah, blah, blah. 45 pages, that's what Bricktop's. And I've seen other ones where they've been like 38 pages and 36 pages. So he is legally, what's the word? He's obsessed by legal stuff, Warren. He always will be.
Yeah.
Because he had a job, didn't he, when he left school? He worked as a solicitor, didn't he?
But I guess it, like, for a big fight like this, like, you want to be clarifying everything from,
Yeah.
you know.
To be honest with you, I'm on Bricktop's side on all this. Because I look at it like this, right? Look, Dylan White's getting paid a lot of money, a world record-breaking purse for a man, for a purse bid. Look, come on, sell the fight, Dylan. Let's get it whipped up. Let's get the fight whipped up. Let's get it sold and get everybody behind it. And it looks to me like they're just trying to still outdo everybody from behind the scenes. And it looks to me like Eddie Hearn is the one reveling in all this because he's not involved. He wants to spoil it for everybody else, doesn't he? That's all he's doing. He's pulling strings, Eddie Hearn. Eddie, piece of shit Hearn. We're changing it from Eddie Hills, the 5-0 Iceman from Billericay who beats his staff up, to Eddie, piece of shit Hearn. That's what you called today, Eddie Hills. And
I think the other thing to remember is that if Dillian White thinks they can win the fight, it's in his interest to promote the fight. Because if you are the underdog and it becomes a big fight and everybody watches it, you win the fight, you get more fans, you get more endorsement, and the rematch is better. Because what they can say back on the rematch if he does win it is say, I didn't sell that many, pay-per-views, nobody was interested, and then that just ends up hurting Dillian White.
Yeah, and another thing as well, right? All he's doing is making his son out to be the bad guy. He is going to be fucking hated. And hardcore boxing fans, they're not even getting behind him. He's playing right into Fury's hands. And another thing, right? Who's ever heard of a fight this big and they don't want to involve themselves in the promotion and that? It's shithouse behaviour. It's lower than a snake's belly. I mean, look, we all know how low some of these boxing promoters can go. But this is just about the lowest stunt I've ever seen, ever. And Eddie Hills is behind it, Rico.
Of course it is. Of course
he'd love it. He'd love this to not happen, him. He'd revel in it. If this didn't happen, he'd revel in it. And you know what? They'd shit the pants and not fight Usyk. Because let me tell you this. Usyk's called it on now. And they're filling the nappies. And they're going to do their best not to fight Usyk. I am telling you now, sure as eggs are eggs.
I mean, Eddie, this is like everything for Eddie. Eddie loses, Dillian White loses to Fury. If Joshua fights against Usyk and loses to him, then who's going to be carrying that DAZN contract? Like, what's it worth? Conor Benn? Katie Taylor?
Conor Benn.
Who's going to be carrying the stable?
Conor Benn and Johnny Elmerford Fisher with 1,700 fans from Romford. The Romford Bull. Bosh! Eating the Chinese after training every day. He ain't going to carry it. Ebony Bridges, or whatever you want to call her, in a pink leotard. She's not going to carry it, is she? No. It's all gimmicks, mate. Gimmicks. And Eddie's not thought this through, but he should have just said, look, Frank outbid me. Good luck, Dylan. Help with promotion. But no, they couldn't do that, could they? They have to piss on everybody's fucking bonfire. And you know all they're going to do? They're just going to push fans away from him. Dylan, Eddie can't see his arm in his own fighter's brand.
But the other thing is, this is just bad for boxing. And the thing about boxing is, when there's big fights, everybody benefits. Everybody tunes in. If Dillian White goes in there, even if he loses and he puts on a good performance, people will be more inclined to tune in to watch him on DAZN. So if I was DAZN, I'd be saying, you know what, promote the fight. You fight on another platform, make sure that people tune in, make sure that people know where they can watch you next. But if he doesn't promote the fight and he loses, who wants to, outside of Matchroom, who wants to give him another world title opportunity? Why? The guy's a sulking, he's a big baby.
The guy's a crybaby, Rico. 2 seconds.
No problem.
Yeah, it's not good, Rico. And like I said, it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the sport, mate. Really, really bad for the sport.
But do you think casual fans want to be watching this type of content? I mean, it's embarrassing for boxing, right? A promoter going at it with a lawyer. arguing about contract points and tickets. You try to think, you know, if you were somebody investing money in boxing, you want, you know, you want to sponsor this event or you want to sponsor boxers, and then you see all of this kind of stuff happening. You think this sport is a joke. It's not even serious. So why get involved as a commercial, you know, corporate commercial partner?
You know where he let his son down? That Jeff Benz. I'll tell you where he let his son down. He came out and he insinuated that Frank's not paid other fighters, which
Yeah,
you could say that. We know about the Calzaghe one, don't we? Because he went to court, didn't he? Obviously, he didn't pay.
yeah. I mean, we know in boxing, but also it's like it's not good. It's not good practice to be talking about alleged stuff like that.
Before a big fight like this, and it's all pointing towards this fight not happening. You know, it is. You know, and you know, if this fight didn't happen, it would be such a travesty. This is going to end up in court. They're all going to court. But I said this months ago, and I said Tyson Fury and Frank will end up in court because they're two big personalities. And Frank ends up in court with everybody when they want to go, more or less, allegedly.
Yeah.
But these, yeah, these, oh yeah, we fucking let her off Bricktop. Okay, you will go down in the fourth. But no, let me tell you, mate. I'm Team Frank on this, and you know what? Dylan White's not covered his sin in glory. That's one of Dennis's sayings. He's not covered his sin in glory, and I think that it's bad. And that Jeff Benz, he's not doing his son any favors, and he's supposed to be a fucking lawyer.
I mean, if I was looking for a lawyer and I was an athlete, I would definitely not hire that guy. The guy was referencing emails between Francis Warren and him. That's not a contract. The fact of the matter is there's a contract that has all the details. They have signed the contract. They have obligations. Frank has obligations.
Yeah.
If the contract doesn't say that Frank needs to provide any tickets for Dillian White, then that's a massive oversight from this guy on the contract, right?
Yeah.
All of this points to, all this bickering and everything points to the fact that they were had over a barrel on that contract that they signed, and they're not happy with that. Tough luck. They need to suck it up. They signed the contract and they accepted it.
Yeah, and now they're crying over spilt milk, but it's too late. They've signed. This is going to cost us. If they don't fight, mate, this will be a massive lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, it will be, and they'll be sued. Dillian White will be personally sued for losses of earnings, everything else, and he won't be able to fight another fight until that lawsuit is settled, and his career will be done, and he'll be bankrupt. That's what's going to happen.
Well, listen, and Eddie Hearn, who's pulling all strings, he won't give a shit, just like he did with Ricky Burns when he left Frank Warren. Do you remember? He left him out, right, didn't he? Works in JJB now, doesn't he? Sport.
Well, I think, that's the thing. And I think he actually ended up working there after leaving Frank, but that's another story for another day. But Eddie Hearn's not going to, he's going to wipe his hands off Dillian White at that point, because why would he want the heat? He's not going to put a fight for a guy that's in a lawsuit, because then he'll be sued.
Yeah. Okay, then. Well, we wish him well, and I hope the fight happens, although I'm still going to stick to my guns, what I said when it was announced, that it won't happen, and they'll all try and do each other's heads in, because there's that much bad blood between Bricktop and Eddie Earls that I can't see this fight happening. They've not put 10 fights on in 12 years between them.
Yeah, but as I've always said, the fact that PBC and Top Rank can work together just shows how bad of a state British boxing's in when two of the biggest promoters can't work together. Yeah. And watch this. Boxer will be able to make fights with Frank Warren's guys. Boxer will be able to make fights with Matchroom. The problem has always been Hearn. It's been nobody else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah, because I think Frank wanted to work with him, you know.
Yeah.
They were going to have a meet, weren't they? Go to Fredericks for some Italian.
Oh yes, something to eat. And Coogan was going to be the bushes with the camera. How was your chat with Coogan?
Oh, what, my chat with him?
Yeah.
In Nottingham. Yeah, I thought he was all right. I pulled him. I said, why come you don't ask this question when you get these certain people on hook? And how come you don't ask this? How come you don't ask that? And to be fair, he was all right. He just said, look, look at predicament I'm in here. I want access, don't I? I've got a business here, I employ people, and I can't give an opinion. You have to sit on fence, and I can't ask that. Well, and I understand where he's coming from, but I said what I said, and we left it at that. And he was pretty respectful. And I saw his interview with Spencer Fearon the day after, and he didn't stick knifing on me, did he? To him, Spencer obviously wanted to rinse me, didn't he? But and I thought he was all right. And you know what? I see where he's coming from, but it shouldn't have to be like that, though. We should be able to say, Eddie, why have you done this, or why can't you make that a fight, and blah blah blah. And I understand, but it wouldn't happen back in the day with Colin Hart and people like that. They would ask them questions, wouldn't they?
Well, the thing about boxing is people are so thin-skinned that people start worrying, and they also know the fans don't demand answers from the media, whereas in football it just wouldn't happen. Like, you think about back in the day, if Sir Alex Ferguson does something, the media will ask about him. They'll ask him that question. It doesn't matter how angry he gets, right? But he still has to engage, or the club has to engage, or someone has to engage.
Yeah, but Coogan's problem is he's
too pally with people.
Too pally, like an employee match. He took money off him, it passed for expenses and stuff like that. And once you start taking expenses, they were giving him expenses for a few years, weren't they? Once it's like that and they're propping you up in hotels and that, you feel like you don't want to upset them. It's a bit like judges, isn't it? Being given limousines to be driven about Vegas and all this, and then they're judging big world title fights. They don't want to upset the promoter that's feeding them, do they? Kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. So
I agree, but that's where the problem stems from, right? It stems from the fact that people have to do that in order to do any sort of boxing content. But on the other hand, I don't think fans are willing to pay for boxing content. I mean, look, you've got you've got members there, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a good number of fans that subscribe to that. But if you were asked to pay £2 a month to watch IFL, how much of a drop-off would that be on their ratings? Massive. And if they had that, then they might be self-sustaining, right?
You're lucky if you get 2% of your subscribers to pay for it. 2%.
But they might be self-sustaining if they do that.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, they might, if they could get, let's say 5% of their fans to subscribe for a couple of quid a month, like after YouTube fees and everything else, they could be self-sustaining if you have the advertising cost on top. And then that would mean that they could be a bit less reliant. They could pay for their own travel. They pay for their own hotels. They wouldn't have to be taking money off people. Of course, the other problem is IFL's affiliated to a certain boxing company, which makes it quite tricky for them to be objective.
Yeah, I see.
For the less said about that, the better.
Yeah. Okay then. Why are DAZN putting on shows? They've got one this weekend, the same time as a Sky show, and they've got one down the line, the Andrade Parker one. That's at the same time as a DAZN show. Why is Eddie all of a sudden going after BT Sport and Sky Sport? Is it bitter? Is he doing it because he's bitter because DAZN aren't hitting the numbers?
I think there's a few things. One is that now you have 3 boxing promoters in this country. So previously you had 2, right? Eddie might have put on 20 shows a year, televised shows. Frank puts on another 20 televised shows. So that gives you 40 shows for 52 weekends. Now you have all of them maybe putting on 15 televised shows a year, all more, maybe up to 20 a year. So you have a big competition, and everybody has to hit the same months, right? Because nobody shows boxing in the middle of the summer or in January. So that's one of the factors. There's more competition and more shows. And now you've got Channel 5 putting on shows. You've got the Linus Udofi against Denzel Bentley, Basserman show on Channel 5 later this month. Or is it next month? I can't remember. Next month or the month after. You also have Probellum shows. So we're going to get more clashes for boxing over the next few years. But I think part of it's tactical as well. They just want to tank because DAZN doesn't care about, they care about subscribers,
yeah,
but they don't care about ratings, right? even if you subscribe and you don't watch the show, it doesn't matter for DAZN. They don't care whether anybody watches the shows as long as people subscribe for the shows.
Yeah.
So one of the ways I think they try to do that is to tank everybody else's ratings. So everybody else has smaller shows and small events. So I think it's a bit of shithousery as such as a tactic. But I just think it's bad for boxing, because boxers should say, I don't want to be competing with other boxers, because what we want is, if you want to build a fight between, let's say, two middleweights, you want everybody to watch your rivals fight on another network. You want everybody to watch your fight. And in time, when you fight against each other, you guys will all be, well known, and, it's a bigger fight. It's just boxing again going to zero, isn't it? Boxing going back to the thing where it's promoters are so interested in themselves that they don't actually care about the whole boxing ecosystem. So everybody loses.
Yeah, and I think you could say Eddie's very, very guilty of that. And Frank, now, to a certain extent, his ego's got a bit bigger in the last 12 months, hasn't it?
He definitely has.
Yeah. Okay. Does Big Meech really want the Usyk smoke again?
I think, what? I think there's a few things here. I'll never say fighters. I'd always say fighters are happy to fight against everyone. It's not. Fighters aren't afraid to fight against other guys. And even if they've lost against them, by no ways was that Joshua's best performance. And the other thing is, he lost to Ruiz. He came back and beat Ruiz. So that should give him a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those fights that if he loses, it's really bad for Matchroom in so many ways, because they have no leverage. The only fighter they have on Sky at the moment is Joshua, and he's a Sky fighter. White went over to DAZN, Dead Zone. So if he's promising to come back there's more money for Sky if he comes back to DAZN, right? After this, if he beats Usyk. So Matchroom, it's one of those, like, what big events can Matchroom put on? Like, what stadium fights? What sold out? What big pay-per-views can they organize? If Joshua loses to Usyk and has to continue climbing his way up, what's the next thing they can do? So I think it's more Matchroom than it is actually Joshua himself.
Yeah. I don't think he's that keen, though, is he?
You know what? I genuinely don't think fighters care. I think it's Eddie and everybody around him think, let's do the road to world title or the road to recovery, and let's wait for Usyk to be caught out weak, and then we can have the rematch.
I mean, they might drag it on and on and on and try and get Usyk off guard and on back foot, you mean?
Well, Usyk has probably like 2 fights with Matchroom as a result of winning, right? They had options on him.
Yeah.
So they'll probably put him in another tough fight, like a mandatory. They'll figure out a very tough mandatory for him, and then they'll try and get the Joshua fight.
He beats everybody, though, anyway, doesn't he?
He will, but it's just more that what it takes out of him, right?
Well, he's done Bellew, Chisora, and Joshua. Eddie's 3 pay-per-view guys. He's done them all in.
But he's 34, 35.
Yeah.
He's 35, right? So if you can get him get Joshua 2 fights this year, one in the summer, one in the autumn, and he get Usyk 1 fight. By the time he turns 36, he's had 1 fight in 18 months, and then you try and catch him out.
Yeah, I won't put it past them. Okay. Bean has piped up, and he said that he's very confident that Big Meech is going to sign with Sky Sports because they've got the biggest platform. What do you say to that, Rico?
Well, if you look at the data, what people are saying, the numbers of DAZN subscribers, and you think about Joshua's market, Joshua's very much a domestic UK fighter. He's not a worldwide star, is he?
No.
So I think he'll think about it this way. He's got a few years left in his career. He wants big commercial endorsements. He wants eyeballs. He's seen how DAZN UK has gone. He's seen the launch and he's seen the game has been changed. Hashtag game changed. So he'll know that signing with DAZN might give you more money, but nobody's going to watch you.
Yeah.
So what would he rather do? Would he rather be on Sky pay-per-view or DAZN pay-per-view?
I think he'll stay with Sky because it's tried and tested, isn't it? Better the devil you know.
Yeah, and also Sky, if you think about a lot of the guys that he's signed for 258, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them are Sky fighters, aren't they?
Mm.
So that's the other big thing is a lot of them are Sky fighters.
Lawrence
So
Coley, isn't he?
Okoli,
Buatsi.
yeah, that's the only one. But Buatsi, but if you think about Joe Joyce,
Joyce was 258.
Yeah, I think some of the other Olympians. I'm pretty sure he is. Campbell Hatton's 258.
Fucking hellfire. Campbell, the fucking hands of Stone Hatton. Fucking hellfire. Another gimmick.
The second coming of Duran.
Yeah. Okay then. Ebony Bridges saying that she's earning money and men wank over her pictures. She's said this on IFL yesterday. Do you feel, Rico, that this is in bad taste and it puts the sport in a bad light, portraying her as, with her portraying herself as a scrubber?
Martin actually did an interview with her the other week on Square Mile podcast, so people can check that out. Martin did a very good job asking her some good questions. I didn't think she was particularly likable in that interview, but that's just my opinion.
I haven't seen that. Martin,
yeah, I'll send it to you after. He asked really good questions.
Oh, he does, Martin. He's quite thoughtful. You can imagine him writing all questions out because he's a bit bright, isn't he? He's a bright kid, isn't he?
He's a bit like you writing his questions on a notepad.
My 10 questions took me about fucking 10 minutes. He's probably took him an hour or something. You know,
yeah, well, Porky, you always on the worm, aren't you? Pork is a free roller.
Anyway, how we rolling, South Yorkshire lad.
So does that put boxing in a bad light? I mean, IFL's a boxing platform, so boxing fans watch IFL. Nobody outside of boxing, or very few people outside of boxing, watch IFL. So she's speaking to audience, which is the people that probably do what she describes, some of them at least. So I don't think it's like bad, but also I do think there's a fine line where you're actually where you're objectifying female boxers and where you're actually saying that they're real fighters and we should take them seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that's the line that she doesn't get because, yeah, he might give her eyeballs and he might give her some stuff, but I think sometimes when she does this stuff, it takes away from female boxing, which has grown massively. I mean, look at someone like Tasha Jonas. Does she have to say that kind of stuff? No, she can fight.
The media trained, aren't they, from Team GB, aren't they?
Yeah, but Natasha Jonas can fight. She doesn't have to go to that level, and I think that's my challenge where Ebony Bridges is often that she's so obsessed with her image and like how she comes across to men that she forgets that at the end of the day you need to be able to put down the fight. So you know what, she fought really well against Shannon Courtney. I think she won that fight, but you can't just go on forever talking about your looks and everything else. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Did you see that yesterday what Ultratech put on his channel? Ultra, I like Ultra, your mate. He put Ebony Bridges got 110,000 subscribers, and she put a poll out on her Twitter saying, can anybody guess what lingerie I'm going to wear for tomorrow's weigh-in? And all these utter weirdo, gimp, stalking freaks. That's what you are. Freaks. Fucking joined in on it and were putting what colours they thought it were. Weirdo freaks living in your mum's spare bedroom or fucking bedsits or something. Weirdos. You need electronically tagging and your fucking laptops in lot of yours. I mean, fucking hell, Rico. What? She must know that she attracts weirdos. Surely. I mean, I have them emailing me about her.
I mean, yeah, she definitely does, but a lot of these people just aren't normal people anyway. So I think, for me, she's captured her audience, right? She's not she's not pretending to be a serious boxer. She's not pretending to be anything else. But your mate Mark trains her. What does Mark say about her?
I spoke to him today actually when I was in Manchester, and I said, Mark, you've gone from training Dylan White to WBC #1 slot and British title, and now you're training Ebony Bridges. And he said, no, I can't believe journey it's gone. I said, only could that happen in boxing. He didn't really say anything other than that. Just, you know what I mean? But you've got to look at it like this, right? He should be getting Dylan White ready to get stuck into Fury for the heavyweight championship. 90,000, 100,000 fans at Wembley for the greatest title in sport. Except he's gone from that to this, but he's got to make most of a bad job because it's his training. Yeah. He's a trainer, so I kind of feel for him. He wasn't complaining. He's happy-go-lucky, Mark, and you know what he's like. But
yeah,
I do feel for him, like, do you know what I mean? Because he's not going to get same dose he would have got for the Fury fight, is he?
No, but I think that's one of the things that's always a shame in boxing. Like trainers it's the worst job in boxing because fighters have no contracts with you. They take what they can. You give them your time, you sacrifice time with your kids and your family, and then one day they just decide they're going to go somewhere else, and that's it.
Yeah. Done. Okay. Well, we wish Ebony Bridges all the best. She's a nice looking lass. Good luck to her. Right. Is Josh Warrington a very lucky boy to have an IBF title shot? And where's this leave Kid Galahad? And could we count him as very unlucky, or has he had to step aside? Because he had a cast iron contract for a rematch with Martinez, didn't he? And he looks like he's been cast aside like rubbish, doesn't it?
Didn't he say that he's going to struggle to make the weight? Wasn't that what he said? Or was it him? Or was it Warrington? I can't remember.
No, whenever anybody gets beat, they always come out with these weight excuses. But when all these fighters are in the camp and they're passing check weigh-ins, there's never a problem with weight. As soon as that judge says you've lost on points, oh, it's a weight issue. But if the judge says you've won, they don't have weight issues. So no, I'm not having that as a get out, as a.
Oh, I'm not saying that's a get out. What I'm saying is you might be moving up in weight.
Oh yeah, I mean, so many people though are using this weight issue.
No, I don't believe in the weight issue.
Terry Harper did it, didn't she? She had a contract.
But if you can make the weight, you can make the weight. And if you make a fighter a certain weight, then you have to make the weight. That's the thing.
They're checked up to 5 times in camp, right, for a weight. And if they pass every single one of them, and then they pass the weigh-in the day before the fight, and they get in the ring, they sign a form an hour before they go in the ring to say, yeah, I'm fit and everything and I'm healthy. If you've done all that and then you lose and then you go, I've got weight issues, it's bullshit, mate. It's utter bullshit. That's how I look.
I agree. What I'm saying is, I think my problem with boxing is often the fact that with the weights, making the weight is that you accept the fight at a certain weight. So it's your responsibility to make that weight. Doesn't matter where you can't shred it off or you can. And even if, you know what, if worst comes to worst, come into the ring, a few pounds over the weight, don't take the press, and then don't fight for the title and move up. At least win the fight.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, mate. But like I said, where does this leave Galahad? Is he stepping up in weight? Well, fair enough. But is Josh Warrington lucky to have that fight because he got licked by Lara, right? He vacated, then Lara knocked him out. The rematch Lara, they were losing, and then they were cut, so it was a technical draw. But yeah, why isn't Lara fighting for that belt? Because he was the one who beat Warrington. You'd have thought that it's all back to front, isn't it? You think?
Yeah, I think Lara's one of those fighters they want to
swerve.
Yeah, I think they just want to build him in the US and get some sort of Mexican following.
Do you feel that Warrington's got the fight because they're guaranteed to do ticket sales in Leeds?
Yeah, they need him for Leeds.
What do you think?
It's not even about views on Dead Zone. It's about ticket sales. It's about ticket sales and selling stadiums and, selling arenas and stuff like that.
Like Ebony Bridges in a adopted home city. No, Eddie told her to adopt Leeds, didn't he?
Yeah.
She didn't even know what Leeds United were. But all right then. Do you think Amir Khan's going to activate that rematch clause? Because people are saying he has, Rico, and that they're having to. It's now in a thought process, and it's all going through now whether they can do it again. So I'm hearing. What do you think to that? I want to see that again.
Yeah, but I'd be surprised if his wife let him, if I'm being honest. Like, his brain's been scrambled so many times, and the way he looked, I'd be really surprised if his family's let him. And if they did, I think they'd have serious financial problems.
Serious financial? Oh,
Yeah, that's the only reason he took the money.
They must have.
I can't see his family saying, yeah, take the fight.
Well, a few years ago, obviously, I do know some people who know Amir, and he had he's actually a lovely kid. He's a lovely kid, Amir, but they got involved with some big shopping centre thing in Bolton.
Yeah.
They put millions and millions into it, and it ground to an halt before the pandemic, and it's like a bottomless pit, I've been told. So I don't know, and it's not even finished at the moment. So I don't know whether it's for that. But if he's got a cast iron contract to fight Kell Brook again, he will see it through. And if not, somebody's going to have to pay him, mate. So it could all be, I don't know, going to court. I don't know, mate. But if he's activated it, he'll want the money. And if he knows he's going to get beat, well, it's only another loss. He's had 5 or 6, so he might as well get paid off it. If he's entitled to it and he's got a contract, they'll go for it. David A did with Bellew.
I think Kell will take the fight, to be honest. I don't think Kell has any hesitation in taking the fight. So,
well, maybe it's going to happen then, because I'm hearing that it could be happening, mate. I'm hearing. So we're going to see, aren't we? I nearly said guy's name who told me then, and he's from up to Sheffield. But I hope it does happen, really, because they're not going to be able to fight anybody else. Them two, are they?
No.
And I'd watch it again. I enjoyed that one, actually.
No, I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a good event. I was in the pub watching it. A lot of casuals were there.
Kell Brook won't be able to do that with somebody else that way, who's top 10. He won't be able to do that with him. But like I said, Kell Brook looked great, and I'd like to see it again. And he might only do 400,000 buys next time, but it's still millions to him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but still, I think a lot of people would turn up for that event as well. I think it would good ticket numbers.
Yeah. Okie dokie then, Rico. Well, thank you for coming on. Nice to see you. We'll have to get Terry on now, won't we?
We will.
I've not spoke to Terry since he sent me a picture of him and Michael the Emperor at that press conference. Oh no, I did. I sent him a voice text. He sent me a picture.
Which one was that? Which press conference? Dan Aziz?
Yesterday, yeah. I were in Rotherham yesterday, and I thought, is he taking piss at me? He sent me a picture of him and Michael the Emperor. I'll show you what I fucking put. Hang on a minute. You know what I'm like. Hey?
You know how Terry is. He'll like to troll you every so often.
Oh, he's unbelievable, isn't he? What have I got him in my phone as now? Judge. I've got him in as judge, I think. Fucking hell, where's that gone? But like I said, he obviously we're only having crack with him. I think you know what Terry's like. He likes to have a mess about, doesn't he? He'll have stuck up for me. Oh, here we are.
Oh yeah, send it to me on WhatsApp.
You fucking sneak, Terry. Look at that. So this is what I fucking sent to him. He sent me that and I was driving. I was stuck in traffic at Bramley.
You fucking turncoat. What he said about you on his channel, Terry. You sat there fucking pally. Fucking letdown.
He just sent me a fucking laughing fucking thing back. He's always trying to get one up on me and the old Terrence.
That's what friends do, mate. That's what friends do.
He knows I fucking bite straight away. I'm like that. I was driving like that. I thought, hang on, hold up at traffic lights. Straight away, button. You fucking turncoat. It's all fucking good. Listen, mate, I've been watching a couple of videos. Fucking hell, there's more people putting videos about me now, Rico, out.
Hey, you're famous. That's part of it. Look.
I've been famous since I was 15, kid. Okay.
You know what? That's an endorsement, right?
I'm
People are
gay. I'm
spending
gay, you know, and I robbed my mum's purse, you know, and I had a gastric band in Turkey. I fucking had a gastric band 9 years ago in Sheffield, Claremont. Well, they don't know. They fucking make up, don't they?
I know, but as I've always said to you, Ross,
No.
the biggest endorsement is people are spending their free time to come up with videos of you.
Hey, I tell
That's
you
your
what,
sign of success.
some of them, fucking hell, they need. Hey, listen, some of you people out there that are doing videos about me, some of your productions actually fantastic. If you get into it with me, porkycorner@mail.com, I'll fuck Cameron off with his 30 quid an hour bollocks, and I'll set your on 15 an hour. And you can invoice it to SYPS UK Limited. But yeah, it's all fucking good stuff, isn't it? There's no else happening in Wales, is there? We're not burgling old biddies, are we?
No, no.
So, right then, Lico, thanks for coming on. I'll get this out tonight.
Pleasure, my friend. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care. God bless.
Everybody subscribe and like, all right?
Don't forget to subscribe. You'll get a visit off Big P or Little P. Cheers, Lico.
See you
Right.
later. Bye.
Well, that were Rico, all the way from Croydon in London. It's South London. Originally Finland. So Rico has a good evening. He's been a good pal to me. It's a long time since we set this channel up. When we set this channel up, I met Rico through Twitter. I had a bit of a following on Twitter back then before I got fired off. I said I'd set one up, but I don't think I'd be able to do it. And then AJ Hobson was saying, "Oh, you should do it." So we've done it anyway. Rico set it all up, and I've found my way, and I suppose carved a little niche. But it's all good in it. But listen, it can all come crashing down if you say the wrong word, or if I decide to just fuck it off one morning, if I get pissed off, because boxing can send you mad, can't it? So that's about it, really. What time is it? 7:45. See if I can get this out for 8:30. And I think that's it then for March. I've had enough this month. 20 YouTube, that's what I have to do with deal I've got with SYPS. 10 members videos, you only had 4, so you've got 6 more members videos, and that's it for that month. That'll be it when April. Okie doke. So if you need your porky fix after today, you're gonna have to join members. Okie dokie. Big shout out to Frank in Bury. Big shout out to Oliver as well in Glossop. Hope you're well, Oliver. I've heard you're a good photographer. All right. Peace out.